Welcome to Menopause, Marriage and Motherhood, a podcast about that time of life that tends to take us all by surprise. I'm your host, Karen O'Connor. Let's get right into it.
England calling Australia. Come in, Australia.
Australia here. Can you hear me?
It's going to be a little bit weird, this, because this is your podcast and you normally host it. But, however, alas, you can't do anything.
Sick.
Show us the hands. Come on, show us the hands. What's happened? What have you done?
It with a cat.
Oh, I hate cats. You know what I'm like with cats, kid?
So it was kind of my own fault. I got between the cat and a snake, and the cat thought I was the snake and took it out on me. So when we came home on Saturday night, there was a snake coming down the retaining wall. I think it was a python. John says it wasn't a python because it had markings on it. It was just a snake. Like,
It was just a snake.
It's just a snake.
Before you go any further, let me just do this, because there's going to be people here listening or watching going, who's he? So I'm the younger, better looking brother than that, right? And that emigrated to Australia, where they've got, what is it, 9 of the 10 deadliest creatures on the planet.
We've got the 9 deadliest creatures on the planet.
There you go. And I'm from a beautiful little picturesque fishing village called Oldham in the north of England, right? And so you've emigrated to Australia, and you've got all these deadly creatures, and you get put in hospital for 3 days by a cat.
I do, yeah.
That's
takes
just
some doing, doesn't it? Eh?
That takes some beating. That you could have done that in Oldham. What? So
I could have done.
You've driven down the drive, so you've got your personal assistants driving. Yeah.
No, I'm driving.
Oh, you were driving? The personal assistant sat
driving.
in the passenger seat.
He was in the passenger seat. Yeah.
Right. Okay.
So the snake and the cats were in a standoff position. Like I said to John, if we got home like a couple of minutes later, who knows what would have happened? Because it was like the cats were mesmerized with the snake. And John jumped out of the car. The snake kind of disappeared back up the hill, and he herded the cats up the stairs. So I got out of the car and I thought, I've just got to get the cats inside so that they don't go and try and do something stupid with the snake. Because, you know, watching them, quite obviously, they're not smart enough to run away from a snake. So maybe we need to get them in the house.
This is an evolution-long feud, you know, that's gone on for the length of time, and you should have just let it happen.
No, I rather like my cats, and the pythons around here are big enough to eat possums. So, you know, if they can eat a possum, it's about the same size as my cat. They can eat a cat, you know.
A cat can jump, though. It can get out the way. Don't you worry about the cat.
The possum chased the cat off last week. And that was only the baby possum. It fell off. Like, it's really hilarious because Mum carries the baby possum round on her back, but the baby's always falling off. So it falls off onto the veranda. They live above our veranda. Falls off onto the veranda with an almighty thump. And it just like sits there, and Tori ran out of the door, the same cat that did this. Tori ran out of the door and ran over to the baby possum, and it just went for her. She's like, oh, excuse me.
Really?
So, the claws are about an inch long.
On a
they've
possum?
got a grip onto everything. Yeah, because they grip onto. Yeah.
So how long do you think the claws are in a cat then?
Not that long. But it wasn't the claws that did the damage, it was the teeth. Oh. So if you get scratched by cats, which I have many, as you can see, up both arms, if you get scratched by cats, it's not a problem. The problem is when they bite you.
Right.
Because it's far worse than a dog bite.
I need to understand this, right? So in your head, you've gone, I need to split these two up from fighting.
Well, I need to split up the snake and the 2 cats. Yeah, I want to get the cats inside. Yeah.
Okay. From a pacifist that used to bully me when I was a child. So you've got hold of the cat.
Yes, but nobody else was allowed to bully you, Alan.
So you've got hold of the cat. Yeah?
You've got to acknowledge that. Nobody dared bully you.
You had the mindset of, I'm going to pick the cat up. The cat is in a mind state of, I'm going to get this snake. What was going through your tiny little mind?
Yeah, not a lot, obviously. A lot. She wasn't, I don't think she was in, I'm going to get the snake. I think she was completely in fight or flight. So I was just trying to herd her into the house, and she wouldn't go in the house. I was literally just going to pick her up and chuck her across the door.
Right.
But as soon as I picked her up, she just went for me. And I
Okay.
it was one of those moments where you can't just separate from your body, you know? You can't, I was kind of like, that's really hurting. I can't believe she's doing that. Oh, and now she's gone for the other hand too. Oh.
She didn't want to be in your hands. She absolutely wanted to be on the floor on her own sort of
She'd
paws.
frozen. She'd actually frozen.
Right.
And that was the issue. She was just terrorized. And so I was just chucking her in the house. But I didn't realize any of that until I thought back on it afterwards. Eagle-eyed hindsight is the business.
So
absolute business.
How long did you have hold of Tori for?
Oh, maybe 3 seconds.
Really?
Yeah.
And on the back of 3 seconds, you've ended up in what kind of position now? How many?
So, did you want me to take the bandages off?
Are you willing to do that?
Yeah, I don't mind. It'll take me a while to get them off because I have to do them by myself, you see.
Okay, so tell us what's gone on and what's happened.
Hang on, it's probably easiest if I show you the photos, isn't it?
Right. Okay.
Because I'd rather not take the bandages off because I have to put them back on again. So,
is your personal assistant not there to help you?
No, he's too squeamish.
Is he?
So, yeah. So, this was the first hand she went for.
Right. Okay.
That was the easy one to sort out. This one was the hard one.
Oh, that's gone right across the crease on your palm and your finger. Look at your finger.
Well, no, what she'd done was she's actually bitten into the tendon of my middle finger on both sides.
Right.
So what they had to do was to try and get any possible infection out, they've sliced it in three or four things right down to here on my palm.
And then washed it out?
And washed it all out, and they've done the same on the top as well. But there's also a couple of bite marks, puncture wounds. So these were all puncture wounds on this hand. This hand she'd ripped the skin off, but this hand was puncture wounds. So this hand didn't look as bad as the other one. This hand looked okay compared to this one when I went in. Yeah.
So I think I was late in bed, in fairness, and the phone sort of bing. It's like, yeah, crazy clock. What's going on here? And you pick the phone up, and it's a photograph of you in hospital with your hands. They weren't bandaged at the time. I think they were covered, but I could see sort of cuts up both arms and one thing and another. So it's then text messages, and hadn't realised that you couldn't reply to the text messages yourself. So. You had to get hubby to do that, didn't you? To let us know what was going on. But hospital-wise, how were they? How long were you there? What did they say to you?
So we got there sort of late Saturday evening, like about 11 o'clock, 11:15, something like that. When I walked, I'd gone down to hospital with a tea towel wrapped around each hand.
Yeah.
And when I got to the hospital, I was bleeding onto the floor through the tea towels.
Damn.
So it was pretty like, and the triage nurse said, "Oh, come through here and I'll just get that bandaged up for you so we can stop some of the bleeding." But it was a long time. It was about 2:45 before I actually went through and saw the doctor. And the nurse, she washed everything out, which was hideous. They ran a litre of saline solution into the, like directly into the wounds of the hand, through this little
Did they give you
catheter.
painkillers first or anything like that?
No, they did not. It was not nice. And then the doctor came over and she said, "Oh, look, you're going to have to come in. We'll have to operate on this one, on the puncture wounds on this hand, because they're going to want to open it up to clean it out, because we can't clean it out well enough." So I was admitted on the Sunday morning, early Sunday morning, and funniest thing was, right, when she said you're going to be admitted, and then somebody else came over and said, "Oh, you need to sign these documents." I'm like,
And you expect me to do this?
Kidding.
How?
So she gave me the pen, and I've got the pen, and I couldn't at the time even put my thumb and forefinger together, so I just did this squiggle. And then later on, when I'm going into operating theatre, they said, "Is this your signature?" I'm like, "Could be, yes, possibility."
I'd have done a better job of your signature at the time than what you could have done.
All right.
Yeah.
But I actually thought it'd be a fairly quick operation. I thought, just cut it up and then stitch it back up again. It's fine. And I said to the anaesthetist, I'm in the waiting room, and I've been in hospital a fair few times this year, let's be fair. So I'm pretty crazy about having operations. It's just like, yeah, whatever. And I said to the anaesthetist, "So this isn't going to be very long, is it?" Should only be like 20 minutes, half an hour. He just went, be a bit longer. Anyway, there were 2 surgeons working on it, and I was in theatre for an hour and a half. So it was pretty, I don't know what they've done, but it was pretty extensive. Yeah.
And I'm guessing that because of whereabouts you live, I'm guessing the hospital is more like a tin shack on a beach. No?
No.
Is it a proper hospital then?
We have lots of proper hospitals here. Lots. We have many.
I'm looking for the original message that came through, because I think at the time I lasted
I've got
about...
it here.
I've got it, I think. I lasted about 2 messages before normal service resumed, and I just wasn't sympathetic in any way, shape or form.
What did I say?
You posted something on Facebook.
I did, yeah.
And everyone's like, "Oh, Karen, oh my gosh, that kiss."
I know, it was great, wasn't it? It was great.
And I put something like,
jelly. You're so jelly.
I can't be outsmarted by my elder, uglier sister. So I put something like,
"Who lives in Australia?"
Auto response to an attention-seeking Facebook post. Oh my gosh, how are you? PM me, kiss, kiss, kiss. And expecting all your followers and all the people that love you, your disciples, to attack me, and nobody did. Nobody said a thing to me. I was gutted.
A couple of people laughed. I have the best friends.
Clearly, they've got sense of humour. I just didn't think they would have done, because you've got friends from all over the world. You're blessed in that respect, haven't you?
I have the most amazing friends. Yeah, it's so cool. And that's one I was saying to somebody the other day. The nurses in hospital introduced me to, when they were doing handover shifts. She said, "Oh, this is Karen O'Connor. She's a famous podcaster." I'm going, totally am.
That's me.
Me.
So what are you going to do about the podcast? You're in a little bit of a predicament now, aren't you?
I am in a real predicament, because can't exactly do any editing.
Right, okay. So I'm going to get down to the nitty gritty, because one of the things that I posted on, I don't know whether it was a private message or whether I did it publicly. Probably publicly, knowing me.
Yes.
Who's going to wipe your bottom for you?
Oh, you did? Yes. You put that on the post.
Yeah.
And then your wife said, "Hello, John, I'm finished."
Yes. It's like the kids, the kids are sat in the toilet, when they're about 3 years old. "Mom, Mum.
I was at the gym the other day and laughing because this woman came in with a little boy in the cubicle next to me. And he's going, "Mum, are you doing a wee or a poo? Mum, are you doing a wee
Really?
or a poo? Wee or poo, Mum? Mum, why aren't your hands ready?"
The thing is, it's a bit of a taboo, right? But we all do it, don't we? So,
Do it.
and it was one of
And
the
we've all
first
got
things.
kids as well.
That's it. It was one of the first things that entered my tiny little, well, it's rather large mind. But, what is she going to do when she goes to the toilet? I mean, what about washing? Simple things like washing or bathing or it's out the window.
Yeah, no, it's out the window. So I have to put plastic bags over my hands because the wounds have to stay dry. But invariably they leak. But try washing yourself with a plastic bag. Like it's quite hard.
It's quite alien, isn't it? Which sort of reminds me, we were in Tenerife, and I'd be about 3-4 years old. And my dad, at the time, I suppose the deck chairs were literally the old deck chairs that had the cloth in between. And he went to sit down on the deck chair, and the deck chair collapsed. He hadn't put it up right, and it took his finger clean off. Do you remember this happening?
The end of his finger, yeah.
And I just remember him sort of holding his hand and sort of screaming, running on the spot and round in circles. And he got whisked off to, well, it wasn't a hospital. It was just the local doctors at the time in the south of Tenerife. So this is 45 years ago. And he got taken away, and this elderly doctor at the south of Tenerife managed to reconnect his finger and put all the sinews and the layers back one by one. And he bandaged it up. And my everlasting memory of that day, well, not that day, but that holiday, was my dad swimming backstroke down the pool with a plastic bag over his hand and his hand out the water. Now, if you look at my dad's hand today, you cannot see where he lost that finger. The guy put it back unbelievably well. How do you think you're going to go on now with your hands? Do you think there's going to be scarring? Have they done a real good job or what?
Well, I've got to go so this hand will be okay because there's nothing on, it's just like at the base of the thumb is the big thing there, but that's okay, that'll heal. The problem is with this tendon. So I'll have to go in so there's got to be like 20 odd stitches going down that tendon cut.
Right.
And once they're out, I have to go for therapy on the hand so that the scar tissue doesn't make my hand claw up.
Are you going to have permanent damage then? Are you going to lose any kind of sensation, feeling,
I shouldn't,
usability?
no. So I've got the full sensation in my fingers, which is more than I had on Saturday night, let me tell you.
So your left hand's the better hand of the two?
Yes.
Right, yeah. So
that's my left.
That's your left hand.
Yes, that was the original. That was when I was in hospital getting it cleaned out.
Yeah. And bruising as well. There's an awful lot of bruising on it.
Oh, so much bruising now. So much. You can't see it in this light, but all around here is all bruised. Yeah. Can you see that? Can you see it?
Yeah, you can actually. You can still see it. Yeah.
Yeah. And the same on the other hand as well.
Okay. And what kind of timescales are you looking at?
I don't know. It's going to be 2 to 3 weeks. So another couple of weeks before I actually get the stitches out. So I'm back at the hospital on Monday to just get everything checked over. But the stitches, because they're not dissolvable, soluble stitches, whatever you call them, they're the proper...
They've got to come out.
Cotton job. Yeah. So they've got to be cut out. But I don't know. I don't know what the time frame is, but I should imagine the nurses were very vague. Like they wouldn't give me any sort of firm dates. I kept trying to push them and they're like, could be a while.
The real issue, with the stitches, when they come out, because they say they cut them out, what they do is they cut the knot. They then pull them out. And as they're drawing the stitches out, that's when the pain really kicks in.
You're telling whoppers there, Alan. I've had stitches out before. Don't even go there.
So you didn't really answer the question. Have you got any podcasts backed up?
I've got one going out tomorrow, which
Right.
is the one that I do with Dawn, but I've got lots recorded. I just need to edit them. So whether, but the problem is, like, usually I have to do a web page because, you know, everybody's appearing on my podcast. They want to connect with people, and that's one of the thank yous. But I can't type. Can't type.
Well, I mean, can your personal assistant not help you out with that? Can he not do anything?
No, don't be
No,
silly.
no.
No, not as far as that kind of thing goes. No, he makes me cups of tea and runs me around and takes me out for dinner, but I can't expect him to actually type for me.
Or
No.
do anything constructive? No,
Yes,
doesn't
I
happen.
might see if Kira can help, because she can maybe do the web pages for me.
Right.
But that's the issue.
Yeah.
Is actually web pages and emails. You know,
Yeah.
because I send out an email too, but I can't type.
Can you not think
It's
of
hard
anybody
enough just.
else that's got that kind of skill set that could do with a portion of your ridiculous amount of wealth?
Bethany, would she be interested?
I'm not being trendy, by the way, with the scarf. It's cold in this studio.
I did wonder about that.
Yeah, no, it's really cold. I was.
That studio of yours is hot in the summer and cold in the winter, isn't
It
it?
is. It's like, yeah.
Yeah.
The joys of entertainment, Lovey. Mm. Mm. So you've no time scales. You've nothing recorded.
Well, I have. I've got recorded. I've just got not
to edit them.
prepared.
Right.
Yeah.
Well,
So
maybe I
if you
can.
want to give me a hand, that'd be lovely.
See. I'm going back to work on Monday. Did I tell you?
You did. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm only going back 3 days a week for the time being, just to see.
I thought you were doing half days. You're not
Yeah,
doing full
half days
are
for
you?
3 days
Right,
a
okay.
week. Yeah,
That'll be great.
That'll
be great.
I've had COVID, you know. I've had it
Have
really
you?
bad. Yeah, yeah. Oh man, knocked me at the ballpark.
And how are those blood clots? How's all that? Because like, if the cat had attacked you the other night, you'd have been a goner.
Well, I was nearly got her anyway. Let's be honest. So yeah, it's all right. I mean, I'm still out and I'm still doing the walking. That was the one thing that they were more bothered about the blood clot in the end than they were about the COVID.
Isn't that interesting? And now you're
Yeah.
clear of COVID?
I'm clear of COVID, but I'm not clear of the blood clot. So,
No. So how long is that? How long does that take to clear up fully?
Well, they put me on blood thinners for 3 months, which I went into the chemist to pick up some medication. I've been to the doctors on, what day are we on? Right, so I've been into the doctors on Monday. And as you know, my doctor's a friend. So I'm sat in the doctor's surgery and I've got my hood on. I've got my Sale Sharks top on, which is the greatest Premiership rugby club of all time, if you don't know who Sale Sharks are. I've got my hood up. I've got my mask on. Doctor walks out shouting to the patient, and he saw me. How do you recognise? He just went, "Alan, how are you? I'll be back in a minute." So he comes sort of trotting out. He says, "I need to ask you something. Do you think when we get a patient with COVID, we should now be giving them aspirin every time they've got COVID?" And I'm sat there thinking, I'm a patient. I'm not a doctor. How should I know? You know? So anyway, long story short, went into the chemist, and the chemist turned around and said, "I don't think they've put you on the blood thinners for a long enough period of time. Normally for something like that, you should be on the blood thinners for 6 months."
No.
Yeah. So, and you know, I'm like, we're taking tablets. I hate it. So, I need to go back to the doctors again to get the results of all the blood tests and one thing or another. But I need to ask him whether I should be extending this or not. But I should be off. They gave me I got this. I got the COVID at the start of October. And he wanted to keep me off until the new year. And he gave me a sick note, a fit note, as they call it in the UK, to that effect. But I've decided that I'm going to sneak back in through the back door and do a phase return. So I'm going back 3 days a week and just doing 4 hours a day. Let's see how I go on. But I've got the fit note, so if things start getting a little bit too much, I can always pull out and just have a little bit more time off. Luckily for you, you don't find yourself in that position. You know, Well, you don't, do you? You're not reliant on getting up and going to work. You spend
I
most
am
of
a
your time,
lady of leisure.
you spend most of your time riding about the gardens on the ride-on lawnmower.
No,
Yeah.
I don't. We got 3 horses here now. I don't need a ride on
So
lawnmower.
have you not got a ride-on lawnmower? Right. Okay. So don't try pulling the wool over my eyes. Yeah.
I don't need to use it.
Because of the horses.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. And the personal assistant that usually does it. I know. I'm not stupid. I've got it. And I think I've got a big drive. I mean, what's yours about? Seriously, about 1.5 miles long, your drive?
On this property, no, that was at the last one.
No, it wasn't. It was the one before.
The one before, yeah,
Yeah.
no, the one before.
Yeah.
Now this one's probably 100 meters.
Yeah, it is 100 meters, isn't it? And the reason I can say that is because you can have a look on Google Earth. I'll send you the location.
So you've been on Google Earth, haven't you?
Right, listen, we probably need to round this up anyway. So you're on the mend. You are in
I'm
high
on the mend.
spirits. Is there anything that anybody can do for you? Should we set up a Just Giving page for you? So because you can't.
Oh yeah, that'd be great. Yes.
How much
Pay
should we
for a
raise?
VA to edit the podcast.
Should we set low expectations? We'll do $500 first off.
Okay.
See how quick we can get that. And then what everyone does is they just increase it, you see. So we'll get it up to about 5,000 in no time at all.
Okay, cool.
And
It's funny because when I put up that post of me in hospital, Facebook actually put up a little thing. Do you want to raise funds?
No. Did it really?
Yeah, yep. Twice that's appeared.
Yes, we need $10,000 because Karen O needs a new piano.
Yeah, that one's rubbish.
It's not. So that's justgiving.com/Karen O. Minimum spend $10. I'm trying for you. Yeah? We can split this 50-50. We can get some flights backwards and forwards to the UK. Oh, meant to tell you. Right.
Yes.
So the last time you was over in the UK was 12 months ago? No, 18 months ago.
Yeah. 15.
Whatever. Right. So we have over here a TV show. You might have it over there called I'm a Celebrity. Get me out of here. Do you have it over there?
Yeah, we didn't hear that last bit. You disappeared completely.
Oh, right. Okay.
I'm a Celebrity.
Get Me Out of Here, it's called.
Yes.
Do you have it?
Yes.
Right.
We do.
Okay. And it's hosted by 2 Geordies over here called Ant and Dec, but it is filmed normally just off the Gold Coast,
Yes,
where you live in Australia.
Yes. It's about 40 kilometres from where I live.
They can't film it over there because of lockdown this year. It should be on, well, it is on right now. So it's filmed in Wales. And ironically enough, when we was out and about the last time you was over, we had our photographs taken at the side of the most remote telephone box, because we still have telephone boxes in the UK. And I think you used it as your profile picture or something.
It's actually on the podcast homepage. That's the picture on the podcast homepage.
That is where they're filming I'm a Celebrity this year. That phone box. It's all over the television and everything.
Wow.
So every time I watch the program, it reminds me of you.
Oh.
Happy day.
They're filming that I'm a Celebrity. They usually go to South Africa, but they're filming up in Springbrook National Park for our I'm a Celebrity.
So they use the one that we normally have in the UK. Mm. Wow.
Yep.
Somebody's making a lot of money out of it.
Oh yeah.
Okay, so you're good.
I'm getting there.
Get in touch with you. Keep you occupied. You know, that kind of thing.
Yes.
And no doubt we will hear from you soon.
You definitely will. Yeah. We'll get the podcast out when I can. Just there might not be any words to go with it. So.
You rest up and you get your personal assistant to help you out and make you a coffee every now and again.
He brought me a cup of tea as we started. I'll pick it up. Hang on, look, there you go. Can't hold it with 2 hands, can't do. But that's what a bandage is good for, you see. You can rest your cup on it and it doesn't burn.
Does he feed you as well?
He got pizza the other night when I came home from hospital. He bought pizza, but he had to cut it up into little pieces, and then I have to eat it with a spoon because I can't hold things on a fork. I have to use a spoon.
What I didn't ask you, right? I meant to ask you this earlier on. How's the cat been with you?
I felt so bad, right? Because where I'd thrown her on the floor, dropped or whatever I did, I can't actually remember, and I'd bled on the carpet on my brand new carpet, right? Bled on my new carpet. John was really quite upset about that. Anyway, threw her onto the floor and she just kind of hunched there. And then I was in the kitchen, I was trying to wash out my hands and I was howling like a baby or a banshee probably. And then I went out the side door, so I didn't see her. But John said she didn't move from that spot for 24 hours.
Really?
He came home and she's still hunched in the floor, like in that spot. And she stayed in that spot, just hunched up for 24 hours.
Yeah. Do you think she actually knew what she'd done and that she'd hurt you?
Yeah, I think she quite possibly thought that she'd killed me, because she attacked me and then I left. And then John came back by himself. It's like,
yeah. So how's she been since you've been back then? Has she been anywhere near you? Oh,
yeah, she's all over me. Like, she was so happy to see me, like, just broke into purrs. So she's been crawling. The two of them haven't been able to leave me alone, which is how they usually are. Normally, if I sit down, the two cats are there, no matter where I am. They're like two little companions. They follow me around. But interestingly enough, they won't go out in or out of the front door, the two cats.
Wow.
Yeah. It's really strange.
And is this the cat that is famous for climbing in holes in the sea or getting stuck between the ceiling and the floor above? And is that the one?
No, it's the other one. That was Chicken. This one's Tory.
You got a cat called Chicken and a cat called Tory.
We have a cat called Chicken, Chippy, Nuggets, McBites. And then we have a cat called the Notorious CAT. Tory for short.
Oh, right. Okay.
Which Tory is actually chicken in Japanese, I think. Something to do with chicken in Japanese. Yakitori.
We have Tories in the UK as well. They're the politicians, and I hate them too. I don't do cats well. You see, my opinion is that you never really own a cat, and they're very, very unpredictable. At least with the dog, if you have a dog, that dog loves you unconditionally. And I don't believe a cat does. I think this sort of proves it to a certain extent.
Well, yes and no. I mean, one of the nurses said to me, she said, so are you going to have the cat put down? And I went, no. She said, well, if a dog attacked you, the dog would have to be put down. And I went, yeah, that's a good point, actually.
Yeah.
But it was fight or flight. I can't blame her. I got in the way.
We have rules, so there you go. Right. Get well soon.
Thanks,
Keep
kid.
on the mend, and we will speak to you in the near future.
You will. Thanks. Thanks, dude.
See you later.
Thanks for joining us this week on Menopause, Marriage and Motherhood. Make sure you visit our website, middleagedwomenstuff.com, where you can subscribe to the show in any of the players or via RSS so you'll never miss a thing. If you liked this show, you might want to check out the webpage, which gives you lots more information about both our host and our guest, along with heaps of other resources. Be sure to tune in every Tuesday and Friday for the next episode. And that's all for this episode. We can't wait to see you next time.